Oh hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe and share. The summer seems to be going away as quickly as it arrived. I realized that plants can grow very fast, but when it is at this scale, the impact is truly amazing. A few months ago, this soybean plant is only about a few inches tall, and now they have grown to well above my waist. And in about 6 more weeks, they're ready to be harvested. And then it comes the deer hunting season. And my friend Brad is a deer hunter, and each year he always gives me some venison. And my challenge is how to create a venison stir-fry dish that Brad will enjoy. In this video, I'm going to show you how to use my fast cooking system to achieve this goal. And this dish is based on my stir-fry template for beef. I find that venison has many similarities with beef, far more so than with pork. And there are many different cuts of venison in the same way as you will find in beef and pork. And this cut is a roast. A venison freezes very well. This particular piece was given to me by Brad about 2 years ago. Brad on average shot about 2 deer each season. One thing about venison that is very different from both beef and pork is that it is very lean. Other than what is on the peripheral surface, the venison has very little fat. The first time when I cut into the venison, I was surprised how red it is. If I want to compare the texture of the venison meat, I would say it is very similar to chicken. And this is probably the leanest red meat that I have ever seen. This piece roast is probably about 1.5 pounds. I first split the meat by half and then I cut them into thin slices. Here I use my ceramic knife. As you can see that it works very well. As I have discussed in my earlier video, no other knife works as well as ceramic knife for everyday use. This ceramic knife I have been using for about probably over a year. As you can see here, it is still very sharp. It cut through the meat just like slicing through butter. After I finished the first half, now I'm start working on the second half. This is part of my advanced prepping. I'm going to store them in a plastic container, and I probably will use them to cook 2 different dishes. So okay, now I am ready to cook. I'm going to start with about 2 tablespoons of canola oil in my hybrid wok. This wok surface has a combination of stainless steel and non-stick coating. I have reviewed this wok in this video, and you can take a look at it to learn more about it. I season the wok with my spot seasoning method. This will get the oil as hot as possible before I add the venison. I add about 12 ounces of venison to the wok, and I use a pair of tongs. The venison tends to stick together, and the tong is very useful for me to separate them. I try to lay out the venison in a thin layer. This will allow me to sear them. This wok is an excellent wok in its ability to hold on to heat. This capacity of the wok is very important in order for me to sear the venison and create a slightly charred surface. Next, I switch to my wok spatula. Because I have thinly sliced the venison, they cook really fast. After I stir fry the venison for about 1 minute, you can tell they're almost 50% done. And at this point, I turn the heat to low. I want to control the texture of the venison, so I would like to cook them somewhere between medium and medium well. And next, I add about 1.5 teaspoons of garlic pepper. Sometimes I will use freshly minced garlic, but the garlic pepper definitely is more convenient. And I do not notice that there is any great difference in terms of flavor. By now the venison is probably about 60 to 70% done. Next, I'm going to add about 2 cups of zucchini. I cut the zucchinis into small pieces, and I also want to lightly cook the zucchini. So it will not take too much time to cook the zucchini, and by the time when the zucchini is done, the venison should be perfectly cooked. In order to keep the venison as tender as possible, I will do everything to avoid overcooking them. And the primary reason I choose zucchini is because the timing in cooking the zucchini together with the venison is just about right. I'm going to give this dish a light teriyaki flavor. So the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to use about 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce to start out. Because I have not cooked venison for a long time, I'm not sure how the flavor characteristics of the venison is going to be. So I'm going to continue to make adjustments, basically use my flavor chasing principle. By this point, I have turned the heat to low because I do not want to overcook the venison. And after doing a quick taste test, I decided I'm going to add about ½ tablespoon of hoisin sauce. The hoisin sauce will provide a sweet characteristics that is common in a teriyaki sauce. Now, every time when I cook something that I'm not familiar with, I spend a lot of time trying to figure out what the characteristics of the dish is going to be like. So I do a lot of taste testing, and I continually to make adjustments by adding different type of sauces. And this is the reason why recipe-based cooking does not work, because in recipe-based cooking, the amount of seasoning that you put into the dish is designed specifically for certain type of ingredients. If you make switches, then it might not work out. And the final ingredients I'm going to add to the dish is some tomatoes. The secret of any time when you add tomato to a stir-fry dish is to cook them very lightly. Always add them toward the end of the cooking process. So in this case, the tomato will retain its form and texture. It will provide a contrast in flavor to other ingredients in the dish. But the juice of the tomato will still enter into the sauce. A tomato is rich in umami molecules, so it will create a great savory dish. Now, this dish is a demonstration of template-based cooking at its working. When you combine template-based cooking with flavor chasing, you have a formula in creating wonderful flavor dishes with different varieties. When you combine these 2 attributes of my fast cooking system, you have the power of create many different versions of a basic template. This makes your home cooking fun, interesting, and creative. This dish is quick to cook, and with few final stirring by mixing all the ingredients together, the dish is ready to serve. And the total cook time of this dish is a little bit over 8 minutes. And this demonstrates the power of stir-frying. By cutting the ingredients into the size that can be cooked quickly, you can cook a dish that normally might take about a half hour to 45 minutes, and you can condense the time to only about 8 minutes. So when you incorporate my fast cooking system with the 4 components, that is flavor chasing, advanced wrapping, stir-frying, and template-based cooking, you can cook complex meals in very short amount of time, all from scratch using fresh ingredients. And if you want to make home cooking as part of your daily routine, it has to be practical, efficient, creative, as well as fun. And when you have a system, you know exactly what to expect. And you also know the possibilities that are available to you. And that's when cooking becomes spontaneous and intuitive. So each night when you walk into the kitchen, you take a look at your refrigerator and your pantry to see what is available to you. you can immediately come up with a menu. I post a video each day to help people to make home cooking as part of their daily routines using my fast cooking system. And if you'd like to learn more about my cooking system, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.